are going to discuss about pollution caused by vehicles. In recent decades, the widespread use of automobiles has significantly made our lives easy. But this convenience comes at a cost that is often paid by our environment. The most pressing environmental issue linked with the use of vehicles is the pollution they create. This pollution is caused by the toxic gases like carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, etc., produced by the burning of the fuel used in the vehicles. These gases have very harmful effects on environment and human health. So to control this pollution, we have overcome with a solution named pollution-o-meter. Before talking about pollution-o-meter, we will talk about vehicular emissions. Vehicular emissions depend on various factors such as fuel type, engine technology, driving conditions, driving behavior, vehicle maintenance, etc. We are going to consider only 4 factors. These are fuel type, vehicle maintenance, driving condition, driving behavior. Now we will give brief description about fuel type and vehicle maintenance, and the other 2 factors will be covered further in pollution-o-meter. The driver must use a good quality fuel that produces more energy with less combustion. The driver must do regular servicing of the vehicle and its engine. Now let's get to our solution, pollution-o-meter. We know that vehicular emissions cannot be completely eradicated but can be minimized by taking some measures into consideration. Pollution-o-meter helps us to adopt those measures. These measures depends on 2 factors, that are driving conditions and driving behavior. Driving conditions involves the speed and acceleration at which the vehicle is moving and the idling that a vehicle does during a journey. For minimum emission, the vehicle must move either at a constant speed or at a constant acceleration. Also, the vehicle must not do idling. Driving behavior involves rough driving, rapid acceleration or rapid deceleration. For minimum emission, the vehicle must not undergo rapid acceleration or rapid deceleration. Pollution-o-meter is the most efficient tool to overcome with these factors. Pollution-o-meter is an inbuilt software in a vehicle system that calculates the amount of pollutants emitted for a particular journey. To calculate this, our system will be using data loggers that will transmit and collect information which will be then collected in SD card in CSV format. Also, we will be using fuel flow meter which will be used to measure the fuel flow in the engine. Using the data loggers and fuel flow meter, our system will calculate the exhaust mass flow rate of each pollutant using the following equation. Here, MEX is the exhaust mass flow rate, MN is the air mass flow estimated from the parameters obtained from the data loggers, and MF is the fuel flow measured by the rotary piston flow meter located in the fuel line. Also, our system is connected to a sensor which will give us data of the instantaneous wet concentration of each pollutant, that is C-wet J, where J is the name of pollutant. But emissions are measured on dry basis, but the sensor is giving us the data on wet basis, so our system corrects this using the following equation. Here, C-wet J is the instantaneous wet concentration of each pollutant on wet basis, C-dry J is the instantaneous dry concentration of each pollutant on dry basis, Kw is the correction factor from wet to dry basis, alpha is the molar ratio of hydrogen, C of CO2 and C of CO is the concentration of carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide on dry basis, respectively. So we have got the instantaneous dry concentration of each pollutant. Now our system will calculate the instantaneous mass emissions of a pollutant using the following equation. Here, MJI is the instantaneous mass emissions of each pollutant in the ith measurement, I is the measuring number. Cj is the instantaneous concentration of the gas component in ppm. Uj is the ratio between the density of each component and the overall exhaust density. MEXI is the exhaust mass flow rate of that pollutant. Now to find the total emission during the whole journey, our system will use the following equation. Mj is the total mass of emitted pollutant during the whole journey. Mji is the instantaneous mass emissions of that pollutant in ith measurement. N is the number of measurements taken during the journey, and delta T is the time interval of a ith measurement. So this is how our system calculates the actual emission made by a vehicle during a journey. Also, our system will generate a graph of instantaneous emissions versus time. Now, the working of sensor which is used to get the data of instantaneous concentration of the pollutant is not known but can be explained with the help of given equation. Here MOE is the instantaneous emission of a pollutant, S is the instantaneous speed, A is the instantaneous acceleration or deceleration, and K is a constant. So we can assume that the sensor might be taking the values of instantaneous speed and instantaneous acceleration from the vehicle system and calculating the wet concentration and giving this data to our system for further calculations. Now our system will also give us the data of expected vehicular emission during a particular journey by assuming that the vehicle is moving ideally. After this, our system compares the two values, the expected, which is given by the AI inbuilt in our system, and the actual, which is calculated by our system. And if the actual value is much higher than the expected value, then the vehicle owner must have to pay fine, which will be decided by the government. To make this commercialize on a large scale, we need to undergo many practical tests to calculate the expected and actual value, and to fix the amount of fine for different cases. So by adopting sustainable practices and making public aware about the pollutionometer and implementing proper use of pollutionometer will help us in reducing vehicular emissions. With the help of this, we can make public to follow good driving practices, which in turn can help in reducing vehicular emissions. Also, the penalty system of pollutionometer will foster individuals to unite in their efforts to safeguard our planet by reducing vehicular emissions.